Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in! Oh! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
This is Kobe Bryant. Many of you may know him for being a Los Angeles Lakers legend and one of the greatest NBA players of all time. But what many of you may not know is that Kobe Bryant liked to play a lot of different sports. I mean, he was real good at baseball, hockey, soccer, he even played a little bit of ping pong too. But there was one sport that Kobe never really played that he always had a passion for, and he felt like if he did, he could potentially become one of the greatest players of all time. So today I am putting Kobe Bryant into College Football 26. Let's see what would happen if Kobe decided to play some football instead, as we follow him on his road to glory. Now, when Kobe Bryant was in high school, he attended Lower Merion High, and he knew heading into his senior year it would be his final opportunity to show the scouts what he can do at quarterback. Now see, a lot of people don't even realize that Kobe has a great arm. But more and more people were beginning to notice throughout his senior year, because it turns out that he would have some pretty nice receivers on the outside, and Kobe would have no problem taking some deep shots that would ultimately be caught for touchdowns. And with Kobe Bryant actually standing around 6 foot 6 inches tall, a lot of people were also surprised to see just how mobile he was. He was one of the fastest players on the field at all times, and he was often looking to take it himself for a touchdown, resulting in him being labeled as a 5-star recruit in his senior year. And out of nowhere, the offers were really starting to pour in, and he was getting a ton of interest from schools. The thing is with Kobe though is that he could really never be good enough. He really wanted to prove to everybody that when the ball was in his hands, 9.99999 times out of 10 he's gonna make a play. And he was doing it in his high school game when his receivers were not able to get open, and he took it himself for a touchdown to cap off this opening drive. And sometimes, man, honestly, even when the receivers were wide open, Kobe didn't give a damn, because he would still just take it himself and score a touchdown when his team needed some points. Bringing us to the fourth quarter of this one, where Kobe also showed that he was not perfect, because he did go on to throw a pick, resulting in his team going on to lose the game. But even though many people counted this game as a failure for Kobe, he didn't really see it that way. And neither did a lot of coaches throughout the country, as he was getting a lot of offers from some of the top schools in the nation. But at the same time though, there were some coaches that did not believe in Kobe at all. So Kobe just made it a mission heading into his next game to make as many plays as possible and keep showing how dangerous of a dual threat player he could really be. He's out here in his next high school game just slicing up this zone coverage. And because Kobe wants to be one of the greatest players to ever play, he spends a lot of time in the film room, which is how he knows who's going to be open most of the time, and he finds the open man for a touchdown here. And honestly, it's pretty easy in high school because sometimes these safeties will do stupid stuff like back up 30 yards on a 2nd down and 4, allowing Kobe to keep coming up with some easy completions. But just to let you know how athletic of a specimen Kobe Bryant was, he had the ability to get out of the pocket pretty often, and sometimes he would even jump over a defender into the end zone. Kobe Bryant was continuing to establish himself as one of the top players in the nation, and it's probably why at this point he has every college within the top 10 trying to get him. It truly seemed like there was nothing Kobe Bryant couldn't do on the field, because he would just continue dominating throughout his high school season, and eventually he was getting closer to having to narrow down his recruiting board and figure out what college he truly wanted to go to. But for now, he is heading into his final game of his high school career, where he continues to make plays that puts the scouts on notice. He was in a game where his team absolutely needed him most, down by 6 with a minute left. So Kobe had taken it upon himself to come up with some plays to bring his team into scoring range. He was bringing his team in great position to potentially take the lead. And after they got to a 1st and goal, Kobe would find a man over the middle for a touchdown. The final score of Kobe Bryant's high school career with Lower Merion. And just like that, Kobe Bryant is officially a top player in the nation. But now that he has finally wrapped up his high school career, it is time for him to make a decision on his future as a college football player. And it turns out his top 3 choices were Michigan, Florida, and Eastern Carolina. And ultimately, he would decide that he would not go to Florida because he doesn't like the color green in their logo. So for Kobe Bryant's college decision, he decided to sign with East Carolina. And now that Kobe's about to head off to college, he has to equip a mental ability, but he realizes that the only one that he needs is his own. So he ends up sticking with the Mamba mentality heading into his college football career. And now that he is finally with Eastern Carolina, he gets to pick a new number. They didn't have number 8 available, but it turns out that it was all good, because Kobe felt like one number they had just really fit him, and he would decide to wear number 24. Kobe Bryant was officially on campus here at East Carolina, and he couldn't wait to get to practice. Unfortunately, when he did get to practice, he realized that a lot of his receivers had a hard time getting open. So even though Kobe was doing his job, he would oftentimes be let down, and he knew the only way this team could win is if he worked hard to become great as soon as possible. So he spent a lot of time working on his skills because soon he was heading into the first game of the season, as Kobe Bryant was taking the field to make his college football debut, and he couldn't wait to try and help his team come up with the first W of the season against FCS Southeast. Now, for some reason, this coaching staff did not trust Kobe to make a play. They kept running the ball, and when they did pass, they only gave him one option, and unfortunately that resulted with them coming up with no points on their opening drive. It wouldn't be until the end of the first quarter where Kobe was showing just how mobile he truly was, as he was escaping out of the pocket and found a man downfield to put his team at 4th and inches, getting a drive going that got them inside the red zone where they would eventually get stopped on 3rd down. On the next drive, they would get to a 3rd and 7 where they would end up getting stopped again, forcing them to kick another field goal. But halfway through the second quarter, Kobe starts to pick it up for his offense as he was coming up with some plays, bringing East Carolina this time to the goal line where they would hand it off to the running back and score a touchdown. The first one of the season for this team, and they were looking to score again after getting the ball back before half. And it was definitely looking like it could be possible after Kobe finds a man open across the middle who came up with the catch and brought his team all the way inside the 10-yard line. Bringing us to a play on 2nd and goal where Kobe tossed it out to the running back who got across for the touchdown. The Pirates go up 20 points and soon they would have 30 on the board. They were absolutely lighting it up on offense, and Kobe still hadn't even scored a touchdown. It wouldn't be until a play in the 3rd quarter where Kobe would launch this ball downfield and connect with the man who brought this ball all the way to the end zone for a score. Kobe Bryant's first touchdown of his college football career. He was gaining a lot of trust from his coaches, and you could see it all throughout the 3rd quarter. Because by the end of it, Kobe had over 400 yards and was coming up with his 2nd touchdown of the day. And rightfully so, Kobe was hyped that he had helped his team dominate this game. East Carolina beats FCS Southeast 51-3, just obliterating them in a game where Kobe played absolutely incredible, especially for his college football debut, going for over 450 total yards and 2 touchdowns, helping his team come up with a big win in a tune-up game. But Kobe knows the season is about to really get started, so he's working like a madman to get better before heading into the next week. East Carolina has another home game where they will get a chance to move to 2-0 against Appalachian State. Now, Kobe Bryant is pretty frustrated early on because his receivers are not working hard enough to get out of their break, resulting in them going 3 and out on their opening possession. On their next possession though, Kobe realized that maybe he'll just have to do things himself this game, because he was coming up with a big rush that brought the team across the 50 and into scoring range. The Pirates are looking like they're about to put up some points, and Kobe still only has 1 pass. His second pass though would go for a touchdown. He found the tight end on the corner route to put East Carolina up by 7. Bringing us now to the second quarter where Kobe got his team to the goal line, and he scrambled around the edge for his 2nd score of the day, giving the lead back to East Carolina, and they would maintain it heading into the second half, where this offense was back to not doing what it was supposed to do by putting points up on the board. Kobe was just thankful that Appalachian State was not a good team because they would definitely have some points on the board by now. And after failing on another 3rd down conversion, Kobe's surprised that they still haven't taken the lead, and he knows that he just has to make them pay right here by finding the open man on the left side of the field who made the reception to bring the team to the 1-yard line. Bringing us to the very next play where Kobe was rolling out right and finds a man in the corner of the end zone for a score. Kobe comes up with a touchdown that puts his team's lead at 2 possessions and allows them to come up with another win on this season. Kobe had another great game, throwing for over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. But there were a lot of reporters who noticed that he didn't even seem happy after the game, and they wanted to see what was going on with Kobe.
Still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or
Still to be happy about.
you're up 2-0?
Job's not finished. Job finished? No, I don't think so.
Oh, nah, see, that's different right there. That's the Mamba mentality we talking about. Kobe Bryant knows that he got a weak-ass team. So Kobe's not going to get hyped up about going 2-0 because he knows that he got to carry them throughout the rest of the season, continuing in their next game, which will be their first one on the road against Cincinnati. Now, Kobe was playing pretty well in this opening drive as he was taking advantage of any opportunity he could to scramble out the pocket and pick up some extra yards. They would get to a 3rd down and goal where unfortunately it seemed like there wasn't many yards to be picked up on this play, and East Carolina had to settle for 3. In the second quarter, Kobe was slicing up this defense downfield as he was finding men open and led the Pirates all the way down to the goal line, where on 2nd down and goal, Kobe would see a man wide open in the flat who came up with a touchdown. East Carolina ties this game up after falling behind early, but they would soon get a chance to extend their lead after Cincinnati turns the ball over and Kobe looks to take advantage by ripping this ball to the right side of the field for a score. The Pirates come up with a nice touchdown that puts them up by 7 heading into the second half, where Kobe was back to using his legs to pick up some yards and move the chains for the team. They get back down to the goal line where a simple pass out to the running back gets them across the goal line for a score. They go up by 2 possessions over the Bearcats in the second half, and it turns out they already did enough to come up with their 3rd straight win. They closed this one out 24-17 in another game where Kobe went for over 250 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Kobe was absolutely locked in, and it wasn't even just on the field, because in the classroom he was taking care of business too. Kobe Bryant wanted to win a championship, and he knew that he would have no chance of doing so if he was unranked. So he's realizing that he has to play great football no matter who's in front of him. Luckily, the team in front of him this week will be one of the worst teams in the country, as they're set to face off against 0-2 Kent State. This offense got the ball about halfway through the first quarter, where Kobe rolled out to his right and found a man down the sideline who took it upfield and well across the 50. They would ultimately get inside the 10-yard line, where on 3rd down and 1, a jet pass to the outside gets him in the end zone. The Pirates take the lead 7-0, and Kobe knows that once they get the ball back still up by 7, that this is an opportunity for them to really take over this game. So he rolls out right in this play and fires this ball outside the numbers for a huge gain. The crowd is going absolutely wild because this drive would end up leading them down inside the 10-yard line, where a screen pass on the left side combined with a nice block to lead the way would lead to a touchdown. They go up by 14 in this one, and East Carolina is gaining a lot of momentum. They would end up getting the ball back right inside the red zone, where Kobe was taking a shot and still delivered a dime, getting it out to the tight end, who scored a touchdown to put East Carolina up by 21. Kobe Bryant was absolutely dominating in this game, because by the 3rd quarter he already had his team right back in scoring range, while on 1st and goal he would fake a handoff and throw it back to the receiver for a touchdown. This man Kobe was different. A lot of people noticed that he was playing like an animal out there. So by the end of this one, they started calling Kobe the Black Mamba. East Carolina would go on to obliterate Kent State 48-0. And it absolutely could not have been done without a 300 passing yard and 5 touchdown game from Kobe Bryant. He would go on to earn himself his first Offensive Player of the Week, and his coordinator wanted to start giving him a little bit more control of this offense. But at this point, the whole team is so happy with Kobe that some of his teammates are actually asking him how they can get the Mamba mentality too.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
What is he talking about?
The 4-0 East Carolina Pirates are heading into the next game, and led by Kobe Bryant, they will play their first game in a while as a ranked team on the road against North Texas. Now, this offense would actually get the ball off a turnover early on, and Kobe's first pass would go for a reception that brings the team inside the 20-yard line. They were definitely moving here in the opening drive as Kobe finds a man over the middle for a touchdown. They're getting this game started as they go up by 7, and they're really hoping that they can keep this going. The defense would force a punt, and on the next drive, Kobe was dumping it off to the running back, who on the screen pass definitely made use of the blocks as he comes up with a big play that brings the team back inside the 20, bringing us to a 3rd down and 14 where they might have to settle for a field goal, but Kobe sees a man in the open zone and scores another touchdown that puts the Pirates up by 14. This was definitely setting the tone for the offense, and they looked to prove it after they got the ball back, and Kobe was making some big plays to his receivers who were wide open for huge gains, ultimately bringing his team back inside the 20-yard line where he scrambled out to his right and he fires his ball to the end zone for a completion. The Pirates go up by 21 in the second quarter, and they would get a chance to extend their lead before half, bringing us to a 2nd down and 20 where Kobe throws a dime up the middle, and the receiver makes an excellent play as he breaks off a couple tackles for a touchdown. Number 17 East Carolina is frying North Texas. And after they get the ball back, Kobe wants to keep this up and potentially put up 50, but the running back would fumble the ball and allow North Texas to feel like they can get back in this game. But by the end of this 4th quarter, Kobe had this offense back in the red zone, and he was taking advantage of the wide open space on the outside as he dove across the goal line for a touchdown. Kobe has the Pirates back up by 4 possessions and officially does enough to put this game away. East Carolina takes care of business 42-10 thanks to another 5 touchdown performance from Kobe Bryant. He was having an excellent season so far and was getting a lot of attention from media members.
So a lot of people in general are afraid of failure. How did you become one of those people who doesn't seem to be afraid of failing?
It doesn't exist. It's not existent. What the hell does that mean? Seriously, what does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination.
I'm not gonna lie, that's some real stuff right there, man. Hey, you know what? That's what makes Kobe different. The Mamba mentality got East Carolina as the 13th ranked team in the country. And Kobe thinks they might have a chance to get into the top 10 if they can come up with a win against Tulsa. Now, this is actually another game where these receivers are having a hard time getting open. So Kobe takes it upon himself to try and make a play, but he cannot get it done on third down. By the end of the first quarter, this offense still had no points. So Kobe knew he had to come out here and say, hey, and pick up a big gain for his team as he brings them across the 50. Bringing us to second down and 12, where Kobe was throwing a perfect pass to his tight end across the middle. Leading them inside the red zone, where on the very next play, he would scramble out to his left and come up with a touchdown. The Pirates finally come up with the first score of the game. Hey, whoa. See, that must be the Mamba mentality kicking in. Because on the next drive, Kobe Bryant seemed locked in. They got to a third down and 11 where he took a shot to his receiver who came up with a big catch, putting them in goal-to-goal territory where unfortunately Kobe had actually fumbled the ball. I believe this is one of, if not actually his first turnover of the season. But somehow East Carolina would still find a way to score and their defense would hold strong all game, bringing us to a play where all Kobe had to do was just pick up one more first down and the Pirates would move on to 6-0 on the year. This turned out to be another solid game from Kobe Bryant as he went for over 200 total yards and a touchdown. He helped his team stay undefeated and a lot of people were starting to recognize his Mamba mentality. Somehow though, East Carolina would actually move back in the rankings, which was a little weird, but Kobe was still working hard to improve and he felt confident that East Carolina could go undefeated with the terrible schedule that they had remaining. They kinda got lucky because it seems like they're not going to face off against a single ranked opponent all season. So they might just cruise to 12-0 throughout the year, or they might be primed for a wild upset. Kobe came out here in a game against UTSA where he was using his legs quite often to pick up first downs. He would ultimately bring his team down inside the 20-yard line where on 2nd and 3 he was taken off again because he feels like he found an open lane to the end zone for a touchdown. Kobe Bryant is putting up the first points on the board already and it looks like he might have a chance to add some more after getting the ball back after a turnover. Bringing us to a second down and goal here where Kobe didn't see anybody open, so he used his legs again and scored another touchdown. He is already taking over in this game as he has his team up by 14 points. And after he gets the ball back still up by multiple possessions, he's looking to make it 21, but he actually throws his first pick. Not a bad thing that it took him 6 games to finally throw one, but Kobe was not satisfied. And since he still only had less than 50 yards throughout the first half, he decided to take a shot, and it ended up being caught. This receiver makes the reception before taking it the distance for a 75-yard touchdown. And just like that, East Carolina is right back on track, because they would get the ball back in the third quarter still up by 3 possessions, where on second down, Kobe was breaking off a tackle and was speeding towards the end zone for his 4th touchdown of the day. He is cooking these boys up by the end of the third quarter, but he is not done yet, because in the fourth quarter, Kobe would find another opportunity to scramble out of the pocket, where he found a lane towards the end zone before diving in for a touchdown. Kobe Bryant was having a magnificent day on the ground, and it's because of him that East Carolina would go on to win this game 35-10. They knock off another opponent to move to 7-0, and Kobe has another amazing performance with over 300 total yards and 5 touchdowns. He was absolutely locked in, man, and he wasn't spending any time trying to hang out with the ladies. He was just too in tune with his Mamba mentality. But it turns out there was somebody who didn't like the Mamba mentality at all, as his head coach was letting him know not to forget that this is his team, and that he should probably cut it out with the whole Mamba mentality thing. At this point though, we haven't seen anybody that can stop the Black Mamba. So Kobe doesn't really know what his coach means, but he's going to keep playing the way he's been playing all season, and try and help his team come up with another win on the season at home against Rice. But Kobe's out here on one of the first plays of the game trying to extend a play to make something happen, but he sees nobody downfield, so he takes off for himself before saying hey, and bringing his team across the 50 for a big gain. Kobe still hasn't even thrown a pass because his receivers cannot get open, so he decides to tuck it and run again, and he comes up with a huge gain that brings the team all the way down to the goal line. And now Kobe was out here trying to get somebody else a touchdown, but on 1st and goal, this running back got stopped, and on 2nd and goal, this receiver could not get across either. So on 3rd down, Kobe decided to just take it himself for a score, putting up the first points of this game as they take a 7-0 lead, and he's hoping that can help set the tone for his team going forward. And it looked like it was as they got the ball back again in the first quarter, and although Kobe hasn't been able to pass for many yards, he's still out here coming up with some big plays. He runs for a huge gain before being brought down in enemy territory. Unfortunately, all that momentum would be taken away though after Kobe throws his 2nd pick of the season. But Kobe is happy that Rice was not able to make anything happen from this, because on the next drive he would have the chance to take a shot downfield where his receiver would come up with the catch. They get right down into scoring range where on 2nd and goal, Kobe takes it up the middle for a touchdown. His second score of the day to put the team up by multiple possessions, but he knows he has to keep this up with Rice starting to put up some points. Luckily, he notices that the defense has a complete bust in coverage, and this receiver is able to come up with an easy catch for a touchdown that puts the Pirates up by 3 scores. Bringing us here to the end of the first half where there's less than 20 seconds left, and Kobe feels like they can score if he just scrambles up the middle before diving across the goal line for a touchdown. He's got this team up by 4 possessions, and he's already done enough to move them to 8-0 on the year. East Carolina gets it done again 31-17, and Kobe Bryant does a great job by going for 4 touchdowns. He has been absolutely balling out as he earns an Offensive Player of the Week. And at this point, it seems like his coach is starting to trust him a little bit more. Because 8 games into the year, he has over 2,000 yards passing and 680 yards rushing. He has been doing a great job all around and still makes time to get his work done in class. The only thing is though, Kobe was working real hard to improve upon his game, but his teammates were slacking off a lot in practice and Kobe was definitely not having that. Man, Kobe was getting real sick and tired of his teammates being so trash. He felt like he had nobody on the team who was trying to be a different animal and the same beast. So he felt like he might just have to take matters into his own hands in his next game on the road against Charlotte. Now with his teammates having a terrible week at practice, Kobe decided that he just might not pass the ball today. All he needed was his offensive line to come up with a couple blocks and he was gone. Kobe Bryant was on his way towards the end zone for a touchdown as he takes this one the distance for a 73-yard score. The longest rushing touchdown of the season for Kobe, but he felt like he was only just getting started. He came out here on the next drive and still hadn't passed the ball yet. He just kept picking up first downs with his legs until he got to a 2nd down and 17, where even though this one was actually a screenplay, Kobe still wouldn't pass. He just took this one all the way around the edge and came up with a big gain to put his team at the 1-yard line. And a couple plays later, surprise, surprise, there was nobody open, so Kobe had no choice but to take it to the outside for a touchdown to extend the lead. We are now in the 2nd quarter of this game, and Kobe Bryant has still yet to throw a pass. But to be fair, he's starting to show why he might not need to, because Kobe Bryant is coming up with another huge run that brings the team across the goal line for a touchdown. This man, Kobe's just doing everything himself. He has his team up 21 points, and it wouldn't be till the 2nd quarter where he would finally throw his first pass, and it goes for a nice gain. In the 2nd half, though, it was more of the same from Kobe Bryant as he was taking almost every single snap himself. But he was single-handedly willing his team across the 50. He had his team at a 2nd down and 13 where again nobody was open, but Kobe scrambled up the middle, and now the only thing open is the field in front of him. There is nobody going to catch Kobe as he glides towards the end zone for another touchdown on the day. He has his team up by 4 possessions and he's only thrown 1 pass. Nah, this is kind of crazy, man. Kobe is absolutely embarrassing Charlotte as he takes another run to the outside and he has all the room to get flipped over the end zone for another touchdown. Now by the 4th quarter, Kobe has only thrown 2 passes in this game, but he doesn't feel bad at all, man, because his receivers can legitimately not create separation. So on this 3rd down, Kobe has to take it himself. And would you believe Kobe is breaking free again? Kobe Bryant is gliding downfield towards the end zone for his 6th touchdown of the night. He absolutely destroyed Charlotte offensively all by himself. And he is the main reason why East Carolina moves to 9-0 on the year. They obliterate Charlotte 42-7, and Kobe has a historical day for multiple reasons. He legitimately only threw 2 passes throughout the game, and I mean he did complete both of them. But he also had over 400 yards rushing. He went on to break the national single-game rushing yards record, officially establishing himself as one of the most impactful players in the nation, and his teammates are actually letting him know that he is now being considered to potentially win the Heisman Trophy. He earned his first National Offensive Player of the Week, and he continued to get a lot of attention from the media, where this time he was crediting himself for the game. And Kobe's head coach seemed to be really happy about his performance until it turns out that he wasn't, because Kobe would have to find out from the student newspaper that he was actually being demoted. It turns out the coach was not happy with Kobe not passing the ball throughout the last game. He considered that conduct detrimental to the team, so Kobe Bryant was officially suspended. He was not going to be able to play in this next game, and it was all anybody could talk about on the news. I mean, it didn't matter that he had a 2.0 GPA. He just had to sit from home as his team would eventually go 12-0, and they would actually win a conference championship. And at this point, the head coach actually got exactly what he wanted. He wanted to get most of the credit for having a perfect season, and winning a few games without Kobe Bryant would actually earn him Coach of the Year. The offensive coordinator also got Coordinator of the Year. He, though, knows that there's no way they could have done this without Kobe. I mean, Kobe Bryant went on to win the Sean Alexander Award, passing for over 2,000 yards and 17 touchdowns in 9 games, and although it was not a Heisman Trophy, Kobe Bryant had become a first-team All-American. He didn't even finish out the season and was still considered to be one of the top players in all of college football, finishing the year 4th in Heisman voting while missing out on multiple games. It was really too bad that the coaches had to be selfish like this, but they couldn't keep him suspended forever. So eventually Kobe would come back, and he was definitely ready to play in the college football playoffs, but the head coach already made up his mind and had him benched. And in front of the entire country, he was exposed for making a horrible decision as East Carolina would get crushed 33-0. The first game of the year where they put up no points, and because of that, they do not get a chance to compete for a national championship, which Duke ends up winning. Yeah, okay. So Kobe Bryant's freshman season is officially over. He had over 3,000 total yards and 34 total touchdowns. And let's not forget that he broke the single game record for rushing yards. He was a dominant player for East Carolina this season, but it seems like he might have to be a dominant player for another team next season. Kobe doesn't really want to hit the transfer portal because he doesn't want to run from the grind, but if the coach is not even going to let him play, then he might have to go somewhere that's going to actually appreciate him. So heading into the offseason, Kobe definitely has a big decision to make, but I'll leave that decision up to you guys. If you want to see a part 2 of Kobe Bryant in College Football 26, be sure to get this video to 1,000 likes and subscribe to the channel down below. Also be sure to comment down below who else you guys want to see next, and YouTube thinks you'll like one of these other stories until the next one comes out. If you got to this point in the video, just know that I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and the rest of those passengers, and other than that, I'm gonna catch you guys next time.